I'm meteorologist Scott Kaplan, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
We visit with the mayors on Wednesday, and Bobby Gutierrez, the mayor of Bryan's here this morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Scott?
Good. I think you've been to D.C. since we last saw each other.
I was D.C. We're in Phoenix. We did a whirlwind trip to go do a bunch of good stuff for the city. We've been advocating for not only more energy, but our 345 line. We met with Cruz's office, with Sessions' office. We met with McCall's office here locally, so we didn't have to go do that over there. But we did a whole lot of stuff, and it was a very good trip.
Explain what a 345 line is.
So it's transmission. So transmission, right now we're going to be, we have enough electricity, we have enough generation to handle all the stuff we have, but we all know, we keep hearing about these big companies that are potentially moving in any day now. They could be announced. So in every day we're adding more power. We're more needs to the power. More houses being built, more businesses opening up and stuff like that. We're getting roughly 1,000 rooftops a year added on to BTUs, whether it be in the city limits or outside of the ETJ that BTU services. So every day we have a little less capacity to think about going forward. A 345 line is something that brings us that energy, whether we're producing it and we can send it out, or we're bringing it in to service. Right now, we're going to need to bring this in both. You've heard the stuff that's been announced over at Relish. Well, all that generation, when we're commercializing those micros or the SMR small modulars, they have to have energy either coming in or going out. These will be producers, net producers. So the question you asked me earlier, are we looking at more generation for BTU? We absolutely are. We have been for quite a while now looking at it. And how do we do this? And, it'd be another bond deal that we'll have to take over, and we'll buy another gas generator to put out at Dansby or wherever that's going to go to put in. But we're kind of pumped the brakes a little bit, because now with the announcements, the stuff that's going on in Relish right now with the micros and the small modulars, we need to see, do we need to spend that money? Do we actually need to do that? Or if we have a 345 coming in, we can purchase that, and it'll be our transmission line. So it'll be good stuff coming in for the city and for BTU. But now we can send electricity out.
Sure.
As generation.
Like anything else, you don't want to buy an old technology.
Well, not only do we want to buy it, we don't want to buy it if we don't need it, because those are fast start, gas engines. So we have 24-hour desk that says, okay, it's time to generate, because right now it's you can, the capacity needs this money and they need this electricity, and it makes money. And then there's times we need to turn them off, because we can buy it on the market cheaper than we can produce it ourselves. So we do that all the time. That's why we're able to keep our electricity as low as we are. We're 24/7 on that.
Donald Trump is a dynamic president. He's doing a lot of things, and everybody likes it till he steps on your toe. And the CHIPS Act is one that certainly some Texas, Bryan would think about that, because clearly you want to get some sort of a chip facility in here.
Sure.
What has the Trump administration done as far as that's concerned about the possibility of some chip facility being here?
Well, I think it's for our particular company that we're working with, I think it's a good thing. They have a good relationship with the administration, so they're working on that, working through that. Hopefully we'll hear something sooner rather than later. I think the thing that scares me is when they're talking about not doing federally funded stuff and letting it go through private equity, through the banking system. I'm on a bank board, so I know it's, you're dealing with people's money. So we're going to have a CHIPS Institute here. So you think about it this way. Who has most to risk on a CHIPS Institute being here? Well, you have the big five. You just talked about NVIDIA. You have NVIDIA, you have Samsung, you have all these different people that are there that can scale a project. They can self-fund themselves. For us, if you have new technology, which is what we'd call like a paradigm shift or something like that, if anything that comes out of that CHIPS Institute, if it's not going directly to a Samsung or NVIDIA or AMD or Texas Instruments, and they're trying to scale their own deal up, well, private equity is not going to put 15 billion, 20 billion into that just because it's a new company. There's too much risk for that. So at that point, you have those companies that can come in, well, I'll buy it for $1 billion. I'll buy your intellectual property for $1 billion. Well, they have 40 billion sitting on the ground over in Taylor right now. So who has the most to lose? Well, they do.
Yeah.
So if it changes, and it changes the way they're made, well, the best thing they can do is buy it and sit in the shelf and never see the light of day again. And you always have those conspiracy
We've
theories.
always heard about that.
But this is a true thing. This is what really can happen. I don't think they thought through that. I talked about that when we were at the mayor's conference, and the Commerce Department said, Bob, you need to come give testimony over here. I said, well, Samsung could write a $3.5 billion check to City of Taylor to do the infrastructure. Well, the new company can't do that. Mm-hmm. And so City of Bryan, we're having to do a lot of things. We're moving all of our forward thinking plans that we already had planned. We're having to move those forward right now and pay for those on the front end so we can get this company over here and get these things done. But it's a business decision for us. But I think the federal government at that point needs to step in, or else we don't get that technology because new technology can't stand up like that.
No, not at all. Startups can't. They don't have the money. You have to do a lot of things, or you do by choice, a lot of things with the city of College Station. There's been a lot of discussion about that last big parcel in Northgate, what's going to happen there, and they'll figure that out. But at the same time, tell me what the city of Bryan is doing, because right there, you're adjacent to this growth in Northgate, and what's the city plan as far as planning for the Bryan side of this thing?
Well, you saw the conceptual plans that we had out. Bill Leroy has done a very good job of putting this thing together and helping us, set that vision and take it forward. We're still looking at properties over there. We're still trying to put them all together to find a major developer to develop the whole thing. We want it to be, purpose driven. We don't want it to just be hodgepodge and everything else. And a lot of people say, well, let commercial drive this. Well, if you let commercial drive it, you just have a bunch of nothing. If you have one big program or one big dream that you can do it within that reality of it. And I think College Station has done a phenomenal job in what I would say, okay, you look at the Northgate area and they've included us in that. And our people have been there. We don't want to do anything that's going to hurt them. They obviously don't want to do anything that's going to hurt us. But together, we make that whole Northgate area that connects all the way into Hensel Park and the Century Square. Then make it one big cohesive, well thought through process. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think City Council has done a great job. We just have to put our egos aside a lot. They've obviously got the momentum over there, and that momentum is going to carry. We don't want to do anything that's going to hurt them. But we're hopefully at the last mile, it's going to come into our neighborhood right across, and no one knows the difference except us. There's a ditch in Low Street. There's two streets. We'd like to have a linear park all the way into Northgate that both towns enjoy. Mm-hmm. So whether we turn ours into a park and they upgrade their road or help them with that, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. We've done that, and what we've done over at Lake Walk, with the ILA that we have over there, we can work good together. And this council right now, current council is, very open and very, we talk a lot. Mayor Nichols and I, talk a whole lot. Bobby Yancey and I talk a whole lot. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of good stuff, cohesion there.
Yeah. Bobby Gutierrez, the Mayor of Bryan, joining us. First time you've gotten a chance to visit with us since the Board of Regents named a sole finalist for a new chancellor. Your thoughts there?
Well, I think it's good. I have a good relationship with, Glenn Hagar, so that's a good thing. I told you a long time ago, the thing that keeps me up at night is who's going to be the next chancellor. We have so much momentum. Chancellor Sharp, the Board of Regents, President Welsh, all those have been such a good partner to the city of Bryan. We don't want to stop that. Momentum is everything, and I think we have the momentum not only here in Bryan College Station, but in the state. With everybody that's coming in over here with all the new stuff, the new innovation that has been spurred through the board, through the chancellor's office and through the president's office, everything around RELIS. We're very fortunate in Bryan right now. We do have a lot of momentum on the 47 corridor, 21 corridor, all around RELIS and everything through there.
Hey, I was on William Joe Bryan yesterday, and it's almost like they're doing everything they can to make it difficult for you to get into the city of Bryan. And so that the mayor lives in that neighborhood. You've been dealing with this for a long time.
I got to book a week in advance to get out of my driveway.
Yeah. And so I was saying to somebody, okay, it's like you're on an F1 course with the curves, but you can only go 30 miles an hour. And that's a car. I can't imagine if there's a truck. We hate to start talking about the traffic situation, but I mean, even when it's finished, I'm not sure that this is necessarily the answer.
I will tell you, because I went through that process, and I did not, because I lived there, I didn't put my 2 cents into it. And looking back, I probably should have. That's part of being leadership, and I was on P&Z at that time. We were going through that whole redesign process. But around the park, right around Sue Haswell Park, that was purposely done to narrow those roads there, too slow traffic. If you can see all the lights that are going in for crosswalks, there was a lot of close calls, and there was some kids that got hit with their bicycles and people drove very fast around that thing.
Sure.
It does slow it down, which every time you slow down as we are as Americans, everything we do is in a hurry.
Yep.
And even like coming over here this morning, it was the same thing. And I'm dealing with the same battle you're talking about every single day, maybe 5-10 times a day.
Right.
But we do have to slow down there, because we have to think there are kids playing there right next to the car that's going 50 miles an hour. Now it can go 30 miles an hour, and most of them are going 35 or 40 miles an hour still. So it just makes it a little bit more inconvenient. I think people will get used to it, but that was something that was driven by the community. That was truly driven by the community to make that happen. It's exactly the same width as 29th Street. We have no problem driving down 29th Street. The only difference are there are curbs on either side. Right. So you just feel a little bit different when you do it. But when it was put into that perspective, well, it's the same width as 29th Street. Well, okay, well, we drive 29th every day as well, so it's okay. Maybe we're just complaining to complain.
Good.
Now, the medians on Texas is a little bit different.
Yeah.
That was not the same process.
Right.
And I want to thank all the people who are doing the median, I guess, the survey group that they've done. They've done a phenomenal job of bringing a lot of stuff to awareness to them. We are continually meeting. We had a meeting scheduled with one of our commissioners. It got canceled because of the winter storm that came in. We're rescheduling that right now. I think they're hard pressed to keep calling me up and wanting to talk to me about this. And I just say, let me do my job. Let me do what I need to be doing to try to mitigate as much as we can. The meeting is not going to be about medians specifically. It's about long-term vision, what TxDOT has with the city of Bryan, with our area. I'm sure there's going to be some talk about medians, I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not what 100% of the median is, what the meeting is going to be about. Part of it's just to get to know our commissioner, the gentleman who is helping run and make these decisions for us.
Finally, anything else this morning?
We got Maroon and White Night coming up. We have Big Barn Dance. So, Scott, this is something that the community's asked for. They wanted quality of life. They want new stuff to come in. We as the community have invested in it, as Bryan, BTU, BBC, Bryan Business Council. We've invested in this thing. I want to make sure, and I really want people to go online and look at the Big Barn Dance and buy these tickets to go. It's a busy weekend, but we need to support this thing because this is something that's gone on in Taos, New Mexico for 25 years. It is a concert series, the Beyond Concert Series. If you like Texas country music, singer-songwriters, this is this thing on steroids. It's 3 days, 3 nights of singing, songwriting, dancing. They have a separate tent set up, nothing but for dancing. So, we lost our last dance place here.
Yeah, we did.
And everybody calls me, we got to have a dance hall. We need to have a dance hall. And it's like, and Becky and I love to dance. So it's truly one of those things. This is something the community needs to get behind. We have people that come in from literally all over the world that were here last year. Even the rain that happened, everything else. We didn't show up as a community, but they still showed up and they bought more rubber boots. There was rubber boots that were sold from all, 3-county area that were all sold out, but they came over and had a good time. It was just a little wet, but they were dancing in the rubber boots. They were listening to good music. It was under a tent. It was, in our staff, our Park and Recs team, our, public works guys, they made things happen. We did this in the park, Midtown Park, and didn't take into consideration some drainage where it was going to go. We didn't know we were going to have a monsoon rain come through either. But they put out hay. They did all the things they needed to do. They made some ditches, and it really worked out good. We had a great time. But, just go on to Big Barn Dance, Bryan, and, buy your tickets, get your stuff, and support the community because we want these guys to come back.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scott.
We visit with the mayors on Wednesday. You can go to our YouTube channel, type in WTAW. Subscribe while you're there so you can watch the video. It'll be posted later today.
Calling all adults 55 and older. Get ready for a special